mobile messaging platform, we built a completely decentralized messenger. So it was one of the very first invisible apps, and it lived inside of SMS and in every other messenger. So you can get Sensei in Facebook, Telegram, Kik, Slack, basically anywhere that a messenger lives. Sensei is a contact that can connect you to everyone. So we saw the big problem of social media connecting all of the friends. And we fundamentally believe that friends share and strangers transact. So getting someone to create a transaction inside of Facebook Messenger is really difficult. So Sensei connects people together around all the things that they want to share together, and this is what we consider to be your human capital. Human capital is like the skills and life experience and knowledge, all the things that make you innately you. And those are the things that we think that people can transact together. So on the system, we gave people Sensei coins. We did that in order to let them transact value. Think of like Reddit karma points or something that is an exchange of gratitude or an exchange of just a self-proclaimed value. We then grew the system. It now has 20 million of these coins across almost 3 million users, and every day people are transacting Sensei coins in chat. This is when we decided that the right thing to do would be to open it up to everyone. We have a really robust platform underlying, so the technology that is underlying our messenger and the core platform is the ability to route to any human in the world one-on-one, so in a peer-to-peer way with no intermediaries like Facebook or Slack. We're just using them as a conduit messenger and transact together.
What is an invisible app?
So an invisible app, there's no native application. Really, it's kind of like, it's just like a platform or an API. Sensei can run on anything, and so the way that Sensei works today is through bots. All of the ability to access Sensei is inside of a bot, inside of a messenger.
So is this like a distributed system?
It is a distributed system.
Okay, so you got a centralized coin and a distributed messaging system. Okay, I think I see this. So how does the blockchain get involved?
Yeah,
Please elaborate.
Very, very naturally. Well, that's the one thing that we've determined. So Sensei is today a centralized company. We're also a venture-backed company, and those two things mean that you have control over everything that you're doing, and you have a profit motive in order to do so. And the things that we understood that are more deeply important to us are simply connectivity between humans and letting humans earn their own income and profit on their own human capital. So the one thing that is important that we see today is Sensei is really just an application that lives on top of this technology that we built that can, in and of itself, be completely decentralized.
So let's talk a little bit about who would be the users of such a system. Who are call it the constituents? Who are who are the applications that would build on this? Who are the users that are going to end up using this whenever you launch? And we'll get into those details next. Let's talk about who the customers are.
Yeah, today we're a consumer application.
And the community is.
Yeah, and our community is huge. We have we started close by our own hearts with technology and in the startup community, and it grew to colleges and moms and every other type of community. Now it's really healthy. When you send a message to Sensei, you'll get a human back, typically within like 60 seconds. So if you just message Sensei...
Sorry for interrupting you on that note, but since you're a live product, how does someone use Sensei if one wanted to try the venture-backed product today?
Go to the Telegram and look up Sensei Bot and start chatting like you're chatting with a friend, or go to Facebook Messenger, same thing, look up Sensei Bot. Those are the two. You can text 636363. Text is the interfaceless version of this, so the command line, if you think of it like that.
So I can do this with SMS on a feature phone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So that opens up possibility. There are 3.5 million data connected devices. There are almost 5 billion. There are almost 5 billion that are mobile devices connected to some carrier. And another really important point of this is, all messaging is centralized. So SMS in 2001 was the highest volume, highest grossing thing that you could do in telecommunications. Yet it was so centralized that you could only SMS between carriers, within your own carrier rather. So inside of your own network is the only place that you can send a message. Now, a protocol had to be created and a standard had to be created in order to SMS between carriers. Sensei has basically created that protocol between messengers. So Facebook Messenger and Slack and Telegram, they're all centralized messengers. And they're all taking your data, owning your data, and reselling your data every time you send a message. We built a conversational analysis platform that's part of our AI. And the amount of information that we can mine out of that data is phenomenally amazing. We won't sell it though. What we decided was that we would rather, instead of ever touching advertising, pass the benefit, the value onto the end user. So the thing that we're building today is called Sense. And the customer for Sense is any developer who wants to mine and access a massive neural net of human data and consume that data for any application, primarily messaging, because the future of all interfaces is conversation. Think of like Alexa, that's voice, all texting, basically everything that you do today on your device is some form of messaging.
So if you have these, you've integrated yourself somehow, you've created interoperability between messaging systems, and specifically with SMS. I'm trying to remember the name of the company back in 2013 that was focused on selling Bitcoin over SMS in the developing world where feature phones were still prevalent. They moved to Thailand. They came out of, I think, 500 startups for plug and play. Anyway, I can't remember the name. That was an interesting use case, which I found fascinating in 2013, 2014, because the developing world is where cryptos and things are needed the most. It's not here in America. It's really in the places where 3 billion people don't have any financial services whatsoever, right? That business didn't work out at the time, but I think that was in part that it was just 5 years too early. I don't know what the smartphone and feature phone sort of penetration rates are right now, but is that something that you're able to service?
Yeah, so with Sensei, the problem that we were solving was more about human discovery and information accessibility. And so you could use a feature phone to tap into Sensei and create essentially human Google. Get all the information back that you need from a person. And so we look at the future of work and we think about how a lot of our jobs are going to be automated and a lot of the labor-intensive jobs are going away. Those are the first ones. A lot of what we do is going to be in a free agent style on our own will, and a lot of it is going to have to do with our knowledge and our expertise. What are the skills that we have? That's, again, going to human capital. We'll be able to leverage that human capital, and whether it's talking to a human or it's talking to an AI. So another really interesting part is that as we've built out these conversational tools, bots are becoming a lot more prevalent. You'll see bots coming up in every messenger stream that you have soon, and they're already there. A lot of times you won't notice. Similarly, you experience AI every single day if you use Facebook or Google, image recognition, Google search, and primarily it's for advertising. So what we see is that we can connect people together to help each other and have helpful conversations. Within those conversations, we create knowledge attribution, and we want to take that knowledge attribution and we want to put it on the blockchain and give you value for it. So if an AI ever comes to have a conversation with you, or maybe it has a conversation with your bot that you created, you can create a value from it. That's knowledge attribution. So your human capital becomes a lot more valuable when it's stored somewhere and you can create attribution for it.
So, if I understand this correctly, Sense is a token, and Sensei is an application. You're a venture-backed startup focusing on building on blockchain, taking centralized tokens and making them open, closed-loop systems into open-loop systems, distributed systems into decentralized systems. Is there a CEO in your future?
Well, so it's natural. We have
Another one?
I've been along, and being close to this industry, I've been along the path watching all of the ICOs since, Mastercoin even, when it's been very natural to digital currency. For us, we have a currency that we've been using and transacting, and having built 20 million coins up within a closed-loop system, we actually did a ton of different tests. So early on, we were doing pilot tests for PayPal and for Stripe and for Square and all of the things that you would normally think at our money transfer systems. What we learned is that most of our users have no interest whatsoever in taking 25 steps to get to those payment processing formats, and that's fundamentally why it failed in Snapchat, failed in Facebook, and is continuing to fail across borders. It's not global, and if you look at the majority of users, so for instance on Kik we have about 2 million users, those users are not banked.
I didn't hear Kik earlier, and they've got an ICO coming up, so that's interesting. You have 2 million users. They have, what, 15 million? I think is what they publicly reported.
Active, yeah, that's
Yeah, they
right.
said 300 million gross, 15 million active. That's a big number.
Yeah, and those users use Sensei as a bot on Kik to connect together, and then they transact Sensei coins. So we will be a consumer application coming online.
Are you Kik's biggest partner?
You know, today I'm unsure. As of when we started, we were one of the top bots. We had the top usage, top acquisition, and we were doing phenomenally well on their platform, along with all of the others. Telegram, same thing. They came out with bots first. Facebook, we've had phenomenal partners to date.
So, are you, and I don't think I got a clear answer to your ICO. I got it, and if that's not something that you want to talk about
Yeah,
today, that's in your roadmap.
Of
I don't want to
course.
suggest anything that's not accurate.
Well, so yes, and the reason is because we want to take our platform and we want to give it to developers. What we've learned is that if we continue to build the only applications on top of it, it will go a lot more slowly than the innovation could be served. So that's the first thing. The second is we want to give our users the ability to exchange these coins out, and they're hungry for Bitcoin and they're hungry for Ethereum and every other token, EOS as well. We see these transactions in chat all the time. So they're using Sensei coins, they're also using cryptocurrency, and it's as easy as sending a message. If I can go backwards in this actually. I have a slide. You know, it's worth noting how many people are on phones like we are now. This slide says 4.5 billion for billion for SMS, but it's closer to 5 billion for all mobile devices. Well, this is my whole presentation. At the end is a little bit more on the details of the developer apps, but unfortunately we have some animations to go through. So, you know, Sensei, I think this illustrates really well the idea of the social connectivity. So today, there's an intermediary in every single step of social connectivity. We don't really see it because we think, hey, 2 billion people all connected together through social media is a lot. Like, that's a lot of people. We're all connected, right? But we're actually, the median number is about 600 people who are in your active contact list, and even less. Most people are underfriended. I'd say most people in this room are overfriended or have a very healthy social network. You probably have you know, a smartphone, and you probably have every possible social application. You're probably using 10 different messengers, 2 of them are encrypted. You know,
Guilty.
and that's the core thing. But we want to allow peer-to-peer connectivity with no intermediaries. And so another part of decentralizing our core platform is making it so that even Sensei isn't holding your data and owning your data. We want you to own your data.
Yeah, I think we're about out of time, so I want to ask one last question. Did I hear yes definitively, or are you on the fence? I heard a yes there.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty definitive yes. Is there any detail you can provide us now as the closing question?
Sure. So in September we'll be launching a token sale, and that is alongside some really phenomenal partners. We're opening up our platform to developers, so developers will be able to access the data and the ability to.
When will that be?
So we will have a white paper in September as well. We have a draft already and to be published. SenseToken.com.
How do we get involved and how do we follow this?
Let's see, there you go. SenseToken.com is the place to go, or just sign up and give us your email.
SenseToken.com, I guess that makes sense.
We have thank you, even capital makes sense. We have a Telegram group as well. We're happy to chat inside of Telegram. You'll see the bots come up, and we have a few other surprises. So,
do we have time for any questions from the audience? No. Well, thank you,
you.
Crystal Rose.
Thank you.
Sense.